Hello, all. My name is Krish Naik, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, guys, just a couple of days back, I had uploaded this amazing video about model context protocol, and in this specific video, I covered how does context protocol works, why do we specifically require it, what is the main purpose of using MCP, and I also given some of the examples over there with respect to some of the demo, right? And I told you that I will be coming up with a very good practical tutorial, like how you can probably go ahead and connect it to different MCP servers of different service providers, and how do we specifically use LangChain as a framework in order to build applications which are connected to this kind of MCP servers itself. So in this specific video, I'm going to cover everything about this. I will probably implement it completely from scratch. We will try to use some different ID, Cursor ID, because Cursor ID is very good in connecting or working with agents. Okay. So I'll be showing you each and every step as we go ahead. Okay. When I probably uploaded these videos, amazing comments I got from you all, and here we have probably covered each and everything with respect to block diagrams and all. And if you see the notes also looks something amazing, right? Just to give you a review or like what we learned in that MCP, right? Let's say we have some kind of LLMs, and this is basically connected to different service providers. What is doing is that it is just trying to bring up a medium, a specific language to connect an LLM and all the service providers that we are using. Now, in this particular scenario, what we are actually focusing on is that here we just need to go ahead and build MCP client, which will be able to communicate with this kind of services. And this entire services will be handled directly by the services provider. So we don't have to write a lot of code like we used to do in this particular step. Okay. And the best part is that since this part is entirely handled by the service provider, so any updates that will probably come, it will be coming over here. We don't need to probably update anything related to MCP client. Okay. That's the amazing thing. Along with this, we also understood what are the important components. Some of the important components was like MCP host. MCP host is like your IDs. It can be Visual Studio, Cursor, Cloudy Desktop. Okay. In this video, I'll also show you Cloudy Desktop and all. Okay. Then internally you create an MCP client, and with the help of MCP client, you connect to different servers. Okay. And as I said, this entire server and this services is basically managed by the service provider. Along with this, we also understood how the communication between these components will happen, right? My MCP host will be connected to the MCP server with the help of MCP client. And the most important thing is that we also want to use LLMs, right? Unless and until we don't use LLM, based on whatever context we get from here, we'll not be able to give a good output. Okay. And this is what I'm going to probably discuss about. How do we implement this kind of solution? Okay. Now, before I go ahead, I just want to make a quick announcement. So on May 10th, 2025, we are bringing up this amazing course on 2.0 live agentic AI and generative AI with MCP. So this is with MCP Cloud Bootcamp. If you just go ahead and click on enroll now, here you'll be able to find out the entire batch details. 2.0 live agentic AI and Gen AI with MCP and Cloud Bootcamp. Okay. So this is the batch which is in demand. Many people were expecting this particular batch to come up with, and hardly, I think there is less than 20 days, I guess. Okay. Because since we are starting from May 10th, right? So the timing of this batch will be 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. IST every Saturday and Sunday. And the duration will be for 4 to 5 months. If you are interested, go ahead and check out all the syllabus. Everything is basically given. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about MCP, right? So what happened is that like I was exploring lot many things, right? So I went to the same model context protocol, what Anthropic has actually come up with, So I went to their GitHub, and since most of my audience is with respect to Python development, right? So I went and ahead and probably explored Python SDK, right? Python SDK. And we saw multiple examples over here. The best thing was over here is that they were not using any specific frameworks. But as a developer, uh, I'll not say that is the best thing, but since they are not using any kind of framework, so our main aim as a developer is that we should try to use some kind of frameworks and use any kind of LLMs. It can be Anthropic, it can be Google Gemini, it can be OpenAI, it can be Groq, any kind of LLM models we can basically connect through, and then probably implement it. So when I was exploring some of the amazing frameworks that are probably available, right, I came up with this framework. Okay. And this framework is from a account which is called as Petrojulo. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And this person has basically created this unified MCP client library. Okay. And the best part about this client library is that we can use this as an open source to connect any LLM to MCP servers. Okay. And build custom agents that have tool access without using closed source or application clients. You can also build custom agents. You can also connect to any MCP server, right? And this is what I really wanted. And this works so much in an amazing way. I will show you with the entire demo. We'll start completely from scratch, but I'm going to use this specific tool, which is called as MCP-Use. Now, what I have actually done, I've forked this entire repository. You'll be able to see that I've forked this entire repository, and I'm making some changes so that I bring some more things over here. Let's say if that all the changes works, right? I will be definitely requesting a pull request and probably contributing in this particular open source. Okay. That is my entire aim over here, right? So here you'll be able to see that how we can basically go. This works with LangChain. That's the most amazing thing. We can just go ahead and do the installation, each and everything we can specifically do. Okay. So I will send you this entire link in the description of this particular video, which you can start. Now, the first thing that you basically require is Cursor IDE. Okay, so here what I will do, I'll just go ahead and search for Cursor IDE, and let's go ahead and download this. Okay, so Cursor, the AI code editor. The reason for using this code editor is that, see, I love VS Code, but Cursor IDE provides good facilities to communicate with the AI agents. So that is the reason I'm going to specifically use that. You can just go ahead and click on download for Windows, okay, and just install it. Then the installation will take place. Now the next step is that I will just go ahead and open one folder location. So this is the folder location that I'm actually going to work on. I will just go ahead and write CMD. Okay. Now inside the CMD, let me just close this. I will just open with cursor. Okay. So there is an option like with open with cursor. We should be able to open it. Okay. So once I click on this, I will be opening a new Cursor IDE over here, right? So this is my Cursor IDE. Now, with respect to the Cursor IDE here on the left-hand side, it looks like VS Code, but here you have some more additional things where you can communicate with the agent and all, right? So these are some default things that you'll be able to get it. Okay, it's just like normal VS Code. Now, I'll open the terminal. So terminal is over here, new terminal. Okay, I will just go ahead and open my command prompt. And if you are probably following me, I have definitely shown you how to work with UV, right? So let me do one thing. Let me just close this. Let me just open from here command prompt, okay? And we will create a new folder. Let's say I will say, hey, let's use UV, and I'll say UV init my MCP demo. Okay, I'll just go ahead and write like this, MCP demo. Okay, so this has now initialized this particular project, MCP demo. And if I just go to CD MCP demo, okay, and then from here, CD MCP demo, I will just try to go ahead and open a cursor. Now see, by default, these all files will get created once you initialize a project with the help of UV, okay. UV is a very good Python package manager. It is very fast because the backend is completely written with Rust. Now I will just go ahead and open with cursor, okay, inside this particular project. And this is my project that you should be able to see it. Okay, perfect. So this is my project, and this is where I'm actually going to do the coding. Okay. Now, as usual, whenever we first of all create anything, right? Whenever we create a project, the first thing is that we need to create an environment. So I'll go to terminal. I'll click on new terminal, open my command prompt. Okay. I'll close this. Here, I will just go ahead and write. And remember, if you want to hide this, just press Control B. Okay, so the left side of the panel will get hidden. Okay. Now, the first thing is that I am on my base environment. You need to probably take care of this. You need to be in the base environment. And now I will just go ahead and write UV. Okay, UV. And I will just go ahead and create a virtual environment. UV VENV. Okay. Once I do this, here you'll be able to see that my virtual environment will get created. Okay. So if I just go ahead and bring my left panel again, sorry. So if I go ahead and bring my left panel again, here my VENV environment is ready. Remember, in this specific video, I'm going to show you that how we can use LangChain and probably connect to MCP servers. Okay. And not only connect MCP servers, but we'll also try to write down code, which will actually help us to connect multiple MCP servers. So here we'll create a chatbot doing that specific thing. Okay. Now, once we have this, I will go ahead and activate my virtual environment. So just go ahead and copy this entire line and paste it over here. So my virtual environment is ready. MC demo. Okay, so we are good, right? Now the next thing is that once we create a virtual environment, by default we will be requiring some kind of libraries, right? Some of the libraries that I will be requiring over here quickly. Okay, some of the libraries that I will be requiring, which I'm going to specifically use. One is uv add langchain dash Groq. Okay, so I'm going to specifically use LangChain Groq because I'm going to use the Groq uh, libraries to probably connect to the open source models. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and press enter. Okay, so once this is done, you can see how quickly the Groq LangChain Groq has been installed. Let's say you want to also go ahead and use OpenAI. You can also go ahead and write LangChain OpenAI. Okay, so you can also use this specific libraries. Now, since we are using Groq or OpenAI, there is one more thing that we really need to use over here. Okay, and if you just see this particular documentation, it says me, hey, we need to probably go ahead and install this MCP-Use. Okay, so I'll go over here and write uv add MCP-Use. Okay, so this is the library that we are going to specifically use it. And then you can see that all the required libraries like python.env, everything is basically imported. Even LangChain is imported. All the remaining libraries has got imported. Okay. Now, just to confirm whether everything has got imported or not, just go ahead and click on pyproject.2ml. So here you can see LangChain Groq, this, MCP, everything is basically there. Okay. And if you want to further go ahead and import things, you can go ahead and import it. Okay. Now, my next step will be that here I will just go ahead and create one app.py. Okay, app.py. Now, the best way to probably connect to any MCP server is a very simple method that we will follow. Okay, so let's go back to the documentation and check it out. Okay, so here it says that, hey, this is my code. You can probably go ahead and create an agent, and this agent will be connected to this particular configuration. So understand one thing. Okay, here what we are basically doing is that in order to connect MCP servers, okay, so let's say this is my MCP server. I will try to explain this in a very easy language. Okay, so let's say this is my host. Okay, now in this particular case, my host is nothing but my Cursor IDE. Okay, my Cursor IDE. Let me show you this. So my host is nothing but here it is the Cursor IDE. Okay, and the same thing I will show you in Cloudy Desktop also. Cloudy Desktop. Okay, now this Cursor IDE will go ahead and create a MCP client over here. So this is nothing but it is a MCP client. This MCP client work will be to connect to the MCP servers. Okay, MCP servers. It can be one server, two server, any number of servers. Okay. Okay, this host will be communicating with this MCP client. Okay, so here I will just go ahead and create this. Let's say this is my server 1, this is my server 2. Okay, now when we are connecting to this particular server, remember this server is not being built local. This MCP server, if I probably consider this MCP server, this MCP server and this MCP server, these are some services that are provided MCP servers. These are services provided by some service providers, right? Service providers. Let's say this service provider name for this is, let's say over here, I will this MCP server service provider is given by Airbnb, right? Airbnb basically to showcase their hotels and all. This service provider may be provided by DuckDuckGo search, which is again an internet search, right? DuckDuckGo search, right? Now, since these two MCP servers are basically running over here, right? So this Airbnb and DuckDuckGo search is basically taking care of this particular MCP servers, right? With respect to the development. Now, if I want to probably connect this servers and run it in my client and run it in this particular host, then what we need to do is that we need to set up some configuration, right? Now the configuration will be something like this. The configuration server will be something like this, MCP server configuration, and we will just keep this in the form of key value pair. Here we will write Airbnb configuration. Next, If I want to also use this configuration, I will just go ahead and write DuckDuckGo configuration. Now the question rises, what will be this specific configuration, right? So there is a format that we specifically use, specifically in this host, right? So once what happens, if we give this configuration, this MCP client will know that what all servers they can communicate to, okay? So first of all, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and create this kind of configuration. Okay, we'll understand how this configuration is basically set up, because this configuration will be defined. This is what is the protocol, right? This is what is the protocol, right? So I'll not say protocol exactly, but this is the kind of configuration, and this MCP client will be able to read this particular configuration. Okay, and based on this configuration, it will be able to call different servers. Okay, and that is the communication. This communication is basically called as MCP. It is basically using a MCP protocol. And based on this protocol, it will be able to exchange, or this LLM, this host where we are creating the LLMs, will be able to get the context. That is very much simple. Okay. So that is what I'm actually going to do, right? How we are going to come up with this particular MCP server, each and everything. So for over here, let's take this example. So this MCP server configuration that you are able to see will actually help us to connect to Playwright. Okay. Now you may be thinking, what is Playwright? Okay. So let's go ahead and search for this. So here I will just go ahead and write Playwright MCP server. Okay. So here you can see Microsoft has provided this Playwright MCP. Its work is basically to provide browser automation capabilities. Like you can open the browser in your machine, and this server enables LLM to interact with the web pages to a structured accessibility snapshots and all things. Okay, I will try to show it to you how we will be specifically using this entire thing. Okay, now what I will do, and here you can see this is the configuration that you need to probably set up so that your MCP host will be able to create a client and probably read all this configuration and be able to interact with the MCP server. So how do we set this up? So I'll copy this. Let's say that I want to use this Playwright. Okay, I'll copy this and I will go to my cursor. Okay, here let me go ahead and create a file. So my file name will be something like browser underscore mcp.json, right? So this is the configuration in the JSON file. So this I have pasted it over here. Okay. So here it is basically saying, hey, the command npx will be used. Argument is nothing but this one, the same thing that we copied from here. Now, since here the command npx is used, so please make sure to install two things. Okay. Not two things, one thing, right? One is Node.js. So if you just go ahead and search for Node.js, you just need to go ahead and install this. Okay. Install Node.js in the Windows. Okay. And then probably do the installation. I have Node.js, so I think I should not be having any problem. Okay. So see, I have this version 22.14.0. Okay. But this will be required because that is how we will be able to run this specific servers. Okay. Now let me go back over here and let me do this. Now this is my browser underscore mcp.json. Okay. Now I'll go to my app.py, and before I go to my app.py, I'll just go ahead and create my .env file. Now inside my .env file, I will be pasting my Groq API key. Okay. I definitely require some kind of Groq API key, right? Because that is my open source model that I'm actually going to use. Okay. This is done. Perfect. Now this is my Groq API key that I'm actually going to use. Okay. I will save this and now I'll go to my app.py, and this app.py, my main aim will be that I'll create a chatbot which will interact with this. Okay. With this browser.json, right? Now browser.json is basically, it'll just go ahead and interact and it'll give me some kind of message. Okay. See, this is just one example. Like this, you can connect to many different servers. Okay. Let's say that I want to add one more server, Airbnb server. Okay. So I will just go ahead and search for Airbnb MCP server. Okay. And this is over here. The link is here. And here, if you go down, you'll be able to see, okay, this is what is my configuration, right? So I just need to go ahead and take this entire thing and paste it over there. So I will paste it over here. Where I have to paste it? After this Playwright. Okay. So after this, I will just go ahead and write like this. Okay. Let's say that I want to also go ahead and use some more, right? I want to probably go ahead and use one more like DuckDuckGo search. I want to go ahead and do with DuckDuckGo search, right? So I'll just go ahead and search for it. So I will go ahead and write DuckDuckGo search MCP NPX. Okay, I'll search for this. Now here you'll be able to see that I'm also getting some links. Some or the other person may have developed this. Okay. Here you will be able to see UVX. Okay, UVX is there. I'll not go ahead with UVX. I'll go ahead with NPX. Okay. So let's see some more links maybe there. NPX. Do I get? Okay, this is DuckDuckGo search. I think without that also it was available. Let me see some page over here. I had opened that particular page. I think I should be able to get it. Okay, perfect. Here it is. Okay, I'll just open this link. Now see this. Okay, so this is my configuration right over here. If I want to run online, I will be able to do this. So I'll just go ahead and copy this. Go back again to my cursor. Okay, and then after this, I will. This is here. This is here. Okay. After this, I will just go ahead and press enter and just see over here. I'm also putting DuckDuckGo search. So that basically means here I am connected to 3 different MCP servers. One is this, and one is DuckDuckGo search. Now my app.py, I have to probably go ahead and write the code wherein I should be able to communicate to all these servers. So for this, I will just go ahead and copy and paste this code. Okay. Now see this code. This code will be quite amazing. Okay, so first of all, I will just go ahead and set up my kernel. My kernel, I will interpret, I'll provide the path. The path is nothing but v script. And this should be my Python exe, I think. Yeah. So now my MCP use over here. Now see what all things we require. So first of all, simple chat example using MCP with built-in memory conversation memory. First of all, we are importing load_.env. Then we have chat Groq. Then we have MCP agent, MCP client, import OS, right? Then we are creating this async run memory chat function. We are loading on our Groq. Then our config file is browser_mcp.json. Now this is what is the information that I have with respect to the server. Then we are initializing the chat. Then we are using this MCP client. See, this MCP client is basically imported over here. And this MCP client will read from this configuration file, that is browser.json. And then it will understand that how many different servers are there, right? And then we are loading our LLM model. Then we are creating an agent, right? The agent will have LLM, the client, the maximum steps, memory enabled, true. So built-in memory is there. And this is just like while true, you're chatting, you're getting the conversation history, and you're getting it and you're seeing it. That's it. And finally, here you can see that we are running this in our CLI. Just if you see this step by step, you should be able to understand this particular code because we have repeated this kind of code a lot. Okay. I did not do anything. Same from the documentation, I've copied and pasted it. Okay. Here, only the thing that I did is that I am creating this configuration file, browser_mcp.json. I'm making sure to show that how many things are connected. Okay. Now this is perfect. Okay. Now see the magic. Okay. First of all, this is cursor. Okay. In cursor also, I should be able to see on the right hand side, you're seeing something called as this, right? From here also, I should be able to communicate, right? This is just like having conversation with agent. So first of all, I will show you how do I configure over here the agent communication that we are going to do. So if you go to file, there is an option which is called as preferences. Inside the preferences, you have cursor settings. Okay. Now inside this cursor setting, click on MCP. Okay. Here I will just go ahead and edit it. Instead, here MCP-JSON, you can see I've written Playwright. Instead of this, I'm going to replace with all these things. I will have MCP servers, Airbnb, DuckDuckGo search. Okay, I'll save this. Okay, MCP-JSON, I will close it. Now see, as soon as I probably uploaded it, right? Here, you will be able to see Playwright is there, Airbnb is there, and this is probably giving me some error. Okay, so here you can see once I probably, okay, I need to probably close this. Okay, so let's close this. Because once you update it, we need to first of all close it. And then I will open that same thing, right? From here, open with cursor. Just restart your cursor. That's it. So here you can see now everything will be showing me in green color. So this is how, see here also if I want to add all this MCP inside my cursor, it's a very simple step. Edit that particular JSON and just add it. That's it. So here you can see add new global. And here step by step, we have added this configuration. That basically means now my cursor will have access to all these things. Not my application. I've not run my application yet, but my cursor, which is acting as a host, right, now has this particular access, right? And internally, because of this configuration, it is able to create a client and it is able to communicate to all the services. Now let's say I will take one example of Playwright. Okay, I will just go ahead and search. Hey, I'll go and say, hey, please open google.com, because Playwright will be responsible in playing with your browser, and then open makemytrip.com. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and click on send. So once I do this, you'll be able to see now the execution. Okay, whether it will be able to call the Playwright or not. See, I'll help you navigate to these websites in sequence. Let me start by opening google.com. So I'll click on run tool. So now my google.com has got opened. Okay, then see the next step. Now let me navigate to make my trip. I'll click on run. Now see the magic here. Make my trip has got open. Isn't it amazing, right? Now MCP server, the best part is that the host has to just put this configuration and automatically the communication is basically happening by the service providers over there. They don't have to even worry about the code, right? So now the next suggestion is that, hey, is there any specific thing you would like to do either of this particular? So now let's go ahead and use some other. Let's say I will go ahead and say, hey, I'll try to use Airbnb. Please provide me some hotels to stay in New York on 20th of April. Okay, I'll just go ahead and click on search. Now see over here, which tool it is going to hit. I'll help you search for hotels in New York on Make My Trip. I'll need to navigate to this hotel section and input search. Okay, now it is still going to this particular browser, right? So Playwright. Now it is still considering the basically the search is basically happening over here. Since I closed that particular browser, you'll be able to see that I will so it is giving me an error. Okay, but it's okay. I'll just reject it, and instead of that, I'll just do an internet search. Okay. I noticed we are looking for hotels. It would be better to use a specialized tool that can help us find international hotel listing. Let me use Airbnb. See, automatically the suggestion is basically coming up. Now I'll just say run the tool. Now, as soon as I run the tool, I apologize for the typing. Let me try again with robot restriction ignored. Now here you can see Airbnb search is basically happening, and I should probably get that particular information. That is the power, right? Still, I have not probably executed from my application. Here directly I'm able to do this contact. Now see all the information, high rated option, 5.5 ratings, 12 reviews, available for your dates, right? All this specific hotels information you're basically getting, right? Would you like me to show more details about this, any specific options, and all the options you're basically getting it over here. Okay. Now this is how easily you can connect it to the MCP server. And the best part is that whatever MCP server you're looking for, just go and see whether that company service provider has created it or not. If it is created, you can just directly integrate it. Now, let me go back to my app.py because I need to run this file also, right? So in order to run this, I will open my terminal again. And here I will just write uv run app.py. Okay. So once I do this, automatically it will tell me, see, all this particular code will run now. It is basically going to load this entire JSON file. Browser MCP JSON. For the initial time, it will take time, but after that you can see. Now the same question I will try to ask over here. Provide me some hotel listings to stay in New York. Okay, I'll just go and search for this. Now the same thing can actually happen, right? You should be able to. It'll take some time because that interaction over here that we are specifically going to do from this particular libraries, it is taking time. But as we go ahead, these all things are basically going to get evolved, and then you'll get an idea. See, all this particular information is basically available, right? So I hope you are just able to understand now what you can do. See, here I've just developed this one. Now you can convert this into a Streamlit project. You can probably go ahead and create this in the form of chatbot. But just imagine this chatbot is basically interacted to the MCP servers that we have created. Okay. Now here I'll say, hey, provide me the top AI news. Okay, so let's say I'll just go ahead and search for this. Now what tool it is going to use? It is basically going to use the DuckDuckGo search, right? Before we used to write a lot of code. Now everything is basically provided by the service providers. You don't even have to create your MCP server from scratch. But yes, if you want to know how to create MCP servers, that I will try to upload that in the next video. Okay. So again, this is going to take some time, but I think we are going to get the answer. It is probably going to take all that particular context and display it over here. right? So both this communication you can do from the right hand side, from the left hand side, whatever things you basically want, you can do this specific communication, right? And as I said, all you have to do is that as you keep on working, right, as you keep on working with different MCP servers, all you have to do is that just go ahead and update over here, right? Once you do that, I think you should be able to get all that particular information over here, right? So I hope you like this particular video. I don't know why this is taking a lot of time. I think the DuckDuckGo search is not working, or I don't know like what is the problem over here. But I think here also we can go ahead and see. Please provide me the top AI news. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Oh, here all the news are there. I think just to hit that API and come back, it took time. But here you can see it is asking me, I'll search for the latest most web search. It is doing this web search. So both the side it is working. It took just some amount of time. But I think this is really, really good to go ahead. All the information is basically coming up over here. Right. So later on, you try it with Tavily search, you try out with different search and see that whether you're able to get that particular information or not. So yes, this was it from my side. I hope you like this particular video. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, one doll. Take care. Bye bye.